What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have liked and sub, and let's get into this. And once again, and right on cue, following the pattern, a once beloved game maker developer is now called a Nazi or a Chud or toxic or a bigot because he dared to question ideology, specifically Western gender ideology. That is, acknowledging it exists, acknowledging there's only two of them, and acknowledging that we find the constant attempt to blur the lines and or remove it outright to be abhorrent and obvious. I know words. So here we see Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii maligned as a Nazi and a chub because, of course, for questioning the ideology that required him to change body types from male and female to body type A and B, or body type 1 and 2. And we've seen this again and again and again. And once at one point they tried to say, oh, it's unrealistic body types. Maybe we believed it for a while. It's unrealistic body types for a certain group of 2.0 woman, but not the actual factual ones. And yes, that is, if you were wondering why all of the femininity has gone away, all the masculinity has gone away, and all that's left is these twinkie Timothy Chalamet. No offense, I think he's a good actor, but you get my meaning. It's an attempt by one specific group, unfortunately. And when you call it out and go against it, oh boy, did they not like that. And we had just that at the Tokyo Game Show when he did call it out, talking about that, there were various, this is all translated, of course. There were various regulations in place, talking about developing in the West as opposed to the East. Various regulations in place. Apparently, it's not allowed to show too much skin. I really don't understand that either. If there's too much exposure, the age rating goes up. It means we won't be able to sell it as an all-age product. Under the name of compliance, that's like an absolute god, an evil disguised as good. There's not such thing as content that doesn't make everyone uncomfortable, because beauty and ugliness, good and evil, are different from everyone. Now, of course, that group that pushes a certain ideology do not believe in true good or evil. They only believe in power and who can wield it in power dynamics. This is a certain cultural Marxism, of course. Not a certain, that's what it is. There are a few things that absolutely must not be done. As long as you follow those, you're free to do the rest. He stated there's a religious concept from the West, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education, right? Their approach to compliance is really narrow-minded. When selling manga in America, everything had to be categorized by age groups. And this is not religious religion anymore. This is woke DEI ideology, unfortunately, for lack of a better term. For Shonen Jump manga, they couldn't be sold unless they were rated for ages 13. So he's just talking about all the hoops that you have to jump through when you do something for the Americas that you don't have to do in the East. He addressed, of course, this is what really set them off, the removal of the gender choice between male and female to the type 1, type 2. In Dragon Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and a female main character, but now you can't choose between a man and a woman anymore. We have to label them as type 1 and type 2. I really wonder who's even complaining about this. The trans audience, basically, the 0.01% of trans, and those that have put them as sacred cows that must be pushed and protected at all costs. This questioning of the insertion of gender ideology into the character select for the game has brought the ire of activists who are labeling Horii as a Nazi, because, of course, you know you are not true North unless you've been called a Nazi. Yuri Horii going Nazi was not on my bingo sheet. See here, Yukio, what in the blue blazes are you on about? How does that make him Hitler? So someone finally speaks truth, pretty much welcoming culture war tourists who tend to be Nazis. No, not culture war tourists. Culture war activists, if you will. I mean, I guess there's activists of all kinds, participants in the culture war that are tired of seeing this ideology everywhere. And the people who act like fascists are the Yukios here. By complaining that the game that they made had to be censored, you can't chastise someone because grifters will latch onto a thing. Look at how much shit I call out on a daily basis that some grifter might too. It was censored because of Sero, and that's been consistent for over a decade. The type A, type B stuff is not censorship, but it is. And whatever the fuck Sero is, that should be undone. No, they were specifically talking about the designs they had to censor just now. Did you? And that's the thing. No, they do not watch the videos. They do not watch subtitles. It's the same design they've been using since blah, blah, blah. No, I haven't watched the video. Right. And that's the point. They call people grifters, but then they don't actually watch the video. They don't actually listen to what we're talking about. They don't see the nuance. They don't actually point out. They don't see the patterns that we are pointing out. Someone else responding, to be fair, I don't think creatives should have to do something they don't want to because of outside forces telling them to do so, and just slapping body type A and B labels on what was obviously designed as male and female choice is one of the most annoyingly performative things I have seen in games lately. Yes, it's cheap. We get it. It's pandering. It's not just pandering to the people they think they're pandering. It's also pandering to the people asking. It's like, yeah, sure. Well, we'll change it to 1 and 2, even though it's very obviously male and female. They said that these two still sound like douchebags, and I won't be buying their games because why do they sound like douchebags? Because it's ridiculous that gamers are acting like the opinion of 2 old men is representative of every creator. We're not acting like it's representative. We're calling it what it is. Representative of someone who had clout, who you think was great, because he pointed out that he was forced to do an ideological change that he didn't want to do, and you even defended him on, you still think he sounds like an asshole. And then again, Chud. Every time I see something new from the dinosaurs in charge, I get happy that I don't. There you go. So it just goes to show you, for every sane person trying to call out, add a little bit of sanity to the conversation, they are immediately shouted down by people screaming Yahtzee and Chud and blah, 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 blah. It's
yeah, weird.
And it's obvious, and it's at the detriment to all of us. So either way, let me know what you think about all this. Are you at least heartened that some of the OGs are talking about it, even if it just brings them ridicule? I don't know. I am, and I hope more do, despite the consequences. Should have liked, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And
well.